Sad reality is homelessness in the U.S. is on the rise. Today there are over 500,000 homeless people in America, including 40,000 veterans. I'm not just going to point fingers at people for why this is happening. Instead, I just want to use this video to talk about the problem and what some other solutions may be to reverse homelessness. Needless to say that the politicians don't seem to know what to do because of a lack of funds and not having enough shelters and affordable housing around. The homeless themselves are getting blamed for taking over city streets and for their trash and other unpleasant things. Many of the homeless don't know where else to go. Many in the general public are upset that these unsightly and unsanitary conditions exist. Many just want the homeless people to be arrested. So there you have it. The homeless problem is real, and the solutions are not all that easy. You'd think that in a booming economy with extremely low unemployment, that the homeless problem would not be happening. However, with wages not keeping up with the cost of living, with housing costs rising, with over half of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, the homeless situation is getting worse. Then you have to factor in that a good majority of the homeless are suffering with mental health issues, with very few getting help. There is somebody I know that's trying to change the situation. My good minister friend, evangelist Chris Parrish, has been in Florida this year, conducting his street ministry titled Direct Impact Ministry. He says the best way to deal with homeless people is to reach them one person at a time. He traveled the streets in Bradenton, Lakeland, and Tampa, looking for individuals that need acts of kindness, such as encouragement, food to eat, getting them to a shelter, giving them some money, giving them personal hygiene supplies, and more. Mr. Parrish even stays in homeless shelters at times to more quickly minister and respond to homeless people's needs. 10 years ago, he found himself actually homeless in Indiana, and his perspective on how to better help the homeless problem is worth considering.
This is the first church service, so I'm in Lakeland, Florida, and I'll be going across this country and doing a weekly service and out in the streets of America. And I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I gave up my regular life to live with the homeless, to be that guy that's in a homeless shelter and kind of filling that void there to where, you know, I know somebody's trying to make it that's in a bad situation, and I can be that person to kind of give them a little bit of hope and encouragement to go on and fight, like maybe pay their rent for a week or two there, $7 a day. There's about a third of the people that's in these shelters that have some serious mental issues, and a third that really don't care. And there's a third that is really trying hard. I still focus on the other ones and pray for them and pray with them. But the ones that really are trying to get back out there and be productive in life is the ones I'm really hit with.
I go out in the morning at 5 a.m. I walk the streets, the alleys, and look for homeless people and talk to them and pray with them and tell them that, hey, you know, I'm trying to make their at least 15, 30 minutes of their day somewhat happy. So it's not that I am destituted. Yes and no. I can leave this place and I can go live. You know, I've already got 3 jobs I've turned down. I know how to roll with these people. It's a different community. This ministry can be your missionary.
Evangelist Parrish always tries to reconnect homeless people to their families. Sometimes they've been out of touch for years, even though they'd still like to reestablish relationships again. Here's a woman that Mr. Parrish convinced to get off the streets and into a shelter he was staying in. Let's call her Sherry. He gave her the $10 needed to stay the night at the shelter, gave her his cell phone to use to try to reconnect to her family. The next day, she thanked him for helping and left the shelter to rejoin her family and to restart her life.
Best friends I made up here.
I'm so happy for you, girl.
Thank you. God works mysterious ways.
Yep. Going home today, united with your family. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
I click my heels.
Chris Parrish will soon be traveling to San Diego, LA, Las Vegas, and all across the U.S. with his ministry of the gospel, hope, love, and acts of kindness. His ministry depends on contributors' financial support. If you'd like to contribute, please visit Chris Parrish Ministries website at www.chrisparrishministry.org and click the donate button. I may have more in the future on my friend's ministry to fight homelessness. I think his approach of helping one person at a time is certainly productive, although hard to do individually when there's such a need. Pray for the homeless and the downtrodden in America. Let's see this problem turn around. I can vouch for Evangelist Parrish's work, so please help him if you can by visiting www.chrisparrishministry.org. No donation is too small, so go to his website. From Indiana, this is H.A. Graves.